Okay, ladies, now let's get information. I say, okay, ladies, now let's get information. You know you that bitch when you cause all this conversation. Always stay gracious, best revenge is your paper.
Hey, it's your girl, the thick writer chick. Hello, hello, hello. Um, so I just wanted to speak on the new season of Love Is Blind, season 6. And if you've been rocking with my podcast, I actually did a podcast on the first season, so I've been a fan since season 1. Forgive me, I woke up and the throat just wasn't cooperating. So if you see me sipping or hear some, try not to judge. Yes, the streets be wilding, and by the streets I mean the weather. But anyway, so season 6, it's been interesting. Unfortunately, two couples even made it to the altar at all, and of the two couples, only one got married, which a lot of people said they were not surprised. Um, I was kind of on the fence, but did he see? The Bible says a double-minded man is unstable in all his ways. So I was on the fence. It was like it could go either way. But it seemed like things were going so well that it was gonna go the way we hoped. So let's get into it. Um the more memorable characters this season, I know we had Brittany, Kenneth, Sarah Ann, Laura, Jeremy, Jessica, who actually this is the first parent contestant that's ever been on the show. So big ups to her. That really could have been something dope. We'll talk about it. We'll talk about it. But and then Chelsea, her dude Trevor, and her other dude Jimmy, and Matthew, the serial killer. I'm just kidding. Mm-hmm. But anywho, so I guess being 35, I never realized how young some of these people are. Like Brittany is 25, and she ended up being a favorite. But I guess when I think about it, that's the age. They just seem so young. But once upon a time, people getting married at 17 and 16. So I guess it is what it is. But yeah. So speaking of Brittany, excuse me. So let's speak on her and Kenneth really quick. Brittany is a white woman. She's about 25. I forgot exactly what she does. Kenneth is a school principal. I think he's about 27. And they were cute. They had chemistry. They could joke well. And it seemed like when they saw each other in person, they weren't disappointed. And then once he got his phone back, it was a wrap. He got the true love of his life back in that cell phone. And Brittany just wasn't having it. She wasn't feeling it. She was like, "Broski, what up though? You not giving me no attention, none." And so it didn't take him long. She said how she was feeling, and it seemed kind of like he was just waiting. I won't say waiting, but a little scapegoat, if you will. He did not put up a fight at all. I kind of understand it because at this big age, that's how I am. If you can't see it, then okay, no need to sit here and try to pull your eyes. But on the other hand, damn, like, yeesh. But I mean, he had a ride ready to go and everything. It sounded like there's a lot of speculation online that he is gay. I personally do not believe just because a man has what's deemed. I never had, even when I was a kid, and people be like, "Oh, he's gay." Or a person would be like, "I'm gay." I would have no idea because I never just assumed because you had what's considered feminine ways that you are automatically gay. So I don't assume he's gay just because he may carry himself a certain way. He was feeling Britney, so I mean, but there's been a lot of speculation online that he may be gay. Anyway, I don't really co-sign that. Um, there were some conversations that came up that people wanted to blame. Like I'm in a few discussion groups. A lot of people feel like AD bringing up race is what spoiled the potential relationship, and I call horseshit because it is a real conversation that interracial couples need to have. I If you have heard that recent TikTok poem, what is it called? Confessions of a Quadroon. Maybe the mixed kids is fucked up out here. So having those conversations beforehand can prevent a lot of identity crisis and a lot of how to deal with racism. What are you going to do? How to make sure you as a white woman can handle microaggressions and defend our child when need be. How to it is a conversation that needs to be had. So I don't think AD was wrong in pointing that out. And I do not think that that is what led to them breaking up. He just wasn't. They wasn't feeling each other. Like in the pods, yes. In real life, not so much. And I think she was. I think she's pretty mature. She was very upset. I think okay. I can't be mad at his reaction because I think she was just upset that what she was feeling she isn't anymore. And it's okay for him to be like, well, you not feeling that. I'm not finna sit here and wait for you to feel it, so I'm out. Because he never said he didn't feel it. Now I do feel like it was a little bit of gaslighting going on when she was, pouring her heart out to him, and he was very nonchalantly, probably still scrolling in his damn phone. But anyway, the reunion's coming. I'd like to see what he has to say about that. They didn't last long at all. I think, I think they wrapped it up in like episode 3. So nice knowing ya. But okay, so moving on to some more exciting couples. Um who else? I wrote down Sarah Ann side piece, Laura wife, and then some triangles that point to a name Jeremy. So I'm gonna assume that's the guy with the Hawaiian shirt. Um, and in the pods, he told Sarah Ann straight up, "Look, I'm feeling the other girl, so thank you for this experience." And she took it upon herself to DM him. Well, if the shit don't work out, very skanky behavior. But I mean, I understand what she's saying. It's a show. And once we get in real life, if this were real life, which it is, I mean, outside of this project, you and her may not work out. So just let you know, if y'all don't, I'm here. But also on the flip side, sis, he didn't choose you. Like flat out. And this is based on who you are as a person. It's not even looks involved. Like who you are as a person. I wasn't feeling that enough to choose you over this other person. For me, that would be enough to never hit you up again. But desperate times call for desperate women. So I ain't judging. She was like, I have a realistic standpoint, and it is realistic. You're right. More than likely, they will flop, or there's an opportunity that they might. Um, you two did technically have a relationship, so getting some closure isn't understandable. I think the part that was kind of jacked up was him lying about where he was, when he could have just been honest. Like, look, I did. Like, mature people do mature shit. And I'm really big on women getting their closure because I am a woman. So I wouldn't even like if he would have came to me and been like, look, Jordan. Whoops, Courtney, sorry. I gotta use my pseudo name. Look, Courtney. I was in a relationship with Sarah Ann. I did have feelings for her, and her feelings do matter to me. And I know that might be hard for you to hear, but I don't want to be that guy that dismisses her feelings or doesn't give her the closure she may feel she needs. So I am gonna go and have a conversation with her if that's all right with you. I'd probably be like, yeah, here, and if it takes some hours, as long as y'all ain't fucking, I get it. Cause I mean, I'm not saying I would be crazy about it, but if you came maturely, I would have no choice but to respect it. He did not. He just went somewhere, lied about where he was at the girl house, may have fucked, may not. The jury is still out, and lied. I mean, and it just wasn't necessary. You already sent him this inappropriate DM. She should have been blocked in, but wasn't. And I think he was just trying to do what men sometimes do, which is keep that door propped open. Do you like Laura? Sure. He did choose her. Did we forget? And once he saw her blow up, it was like, oh, screw this. Good thing I left the door open over here. Hmm. This tea ain't the only thing hot that I'm sipping. He knew what he was doing. His damn Hawaiian shirt. Now I will admit, at first I thought they were the cutest. Like he just seemed so for her and who she was, and didn't want to change anything. And she was real big on, we're gonna change this, we're gonna change that, we're gonna change this. Honey, the show is called Love Is Blind. Like, and then they met each other's family, or he met her family, and it seemed like they was clicking. It seemed like potential was there, but also we gotta remember we watching it once every week over like 4 weeks. This shit was like 2 weeks. Like, I mean, in real time, they had not known each other long at all. So I mean, to a certain degree, Sarah Ann did have a point. y'all know each other some weeks. Like what? We've kept up hairstyles longer than y'all known each other. So it, it may flop. You know. Pardon me. So I get it. Does two things can be true at the same time. Yes, it was a realistic approach, and realism is important. But was it skanky? Yeah, he's engaged. Even if it is a show, he said no to you and yes to her. So when AD confronted her, which I don't know if I felt like that was AD's place or not. If they are friends, then yes, I salute AD for being real with her. But you know, because I don't think we call our friends out enough when they do fuck shit. And sis, you DMing him in the first place. I do understand that your feelings are valid. Again, it would have been different if she had reached out to him or them both and just been like, "Look, I know you guys are together, and I appreciate that, but my feelings were involved, and I would just like some closure. Could we have a conversation just to get that closure?" That is not what she did. She said, "Hey, boo, the door is open. If the door over there don't stay closed, totally, pretty much. If that shit don't work out, I'm available." Long story short, yeah. So then she went on her little rant. She was so upset. She was like, "I'm not finna be the villain," while simultaneously being the motherfucking villain. Like, how you gonna come up in here dressed like Cruella Deville, metaphorically speaking, and then be mad when we hide the puppies from you, sis? This isn't girl good. Woman to woman, good girl. What's it called? A girl's girl. This isn't that. You pick me, you, and he didn't even pick you. That ought to be enough to say fuck him. He did not pick you, and he had a choice. He wasn't engaged until after he told you no. We got to start. We'll get to it in a minute. So moving on from them, I ain't gonna lie, baby Laura, when she get, who am I to judge? Because we've all been at that stage of life where anger, when we mad, we just say whatever and do whatever, and maybe the other person's feelings or how the anger is coming out is not important at that time. And of course, watching it and being a third party is like, ooh, girl, damn. But also, this isn't a joke. This is these people's lives, and to us, it's entertainment. But these people, some of them, came on here looking for love, and they are engaged. That part is real. So if you treat it like a joke, and I'm for real, hell, I'd be pissed off too. So I mean, you know, understandable. Let's see here. Let's talk about Jess, baby. Let's talk about Jess. Okay, so Jessica. I was so happy as a single mommy to see a mommy on the show because I am a diehard. I love, love, love dating shows. I just love. So dating shows are one of my favorite forms of reality TV. And it really does. I won't say it breaks my heart. I understand why parents cannot be part of shows like this or 90 Day Fiance or Married at First Sight because there's children involved. And that's a lot to ask a person to take on. Um, but it was cute to see them step outside that box and give it a try because parents deserve love too. I don't know. And my problem with Jessica is she was being weird about it. Sis, you have a daughter and a 10-year old. So this ain't even no baby. Like in 8 years, she'll be at the house. You have a daughter, not a dragon, not a three-headed horse that a magical unicorn. It's a kid. Calm down. Like my girl Sarah Ann said, this is the real world. Most of the people these people have dated before probably had children. Like these people in their late 20s, early 30s. I'm sure you're not their first rodeo. And she's coming in here, I guess maybe because she's the first. Maybe if there had been other parents on the show, she wouldn't be so uncomfortable. But she made it her personality in a weird way. I don't even know what she did for a living. I just know she a mom of a 10-year-old named Autumn. And Autumn and Sarah Awesome. She one of them parents. Don't get me wrong. I love my boys down. They are a huge part of my heart, but they are not my identity as a whole. And one thing I'm not going to do is hide them. I thought it was very odd that she decided not to let people know. Maybe had she let oh boy know a friend, she might have got chose. Because what? That's something people need to know. but it's like you're keeping it at bay in hopes that they'll see, I guess, see you as a person first without being sidetracked by the fact that you're a parent. And true enough, parenthood doesn't have to be your whole identity, but it is part of who you are. So I tell people up front, like when on dating websites and stuff like that, it's in the bio. So that way, if you're one of them types that, oh, I don't date when we're kids, good. The information's already there, so you can keep scrolling. Because I'm not finna put my mommyhood on the back burner to try to get no dude. So I couldn't agree with her with that. You know, I'm gonna wait to tell him. Today's the day I tell him. And then of course when he actually responded kind of well, you know, better than we thought. Cause I was rooting for them. I like Jessica and what's his name, Jimmy. I think they had, to be honest, I think they had more chemistry than Chelsea. If I'm being frank, but yeah. So I think after that he may have checked out a little bit. And then it seemed like their conversations just started to go kind of left after that, which made it much easier for him to gravitate to Chelsea. Well, let men tell it, they gonna go where the piece is at. So whatever. But I thought her giving him her dear husband poetry type book was very sweet and endearing. Um, I think there was potential there, but per, you know, it is what it is. She probably should have shared that information up front instead of being weird about it. Like it's not a two-headed dog, it's a kid. And then not even a baby. I could see if she had like a 2 year old. Nigga 10. Like that girl's, I won't say practically grown, but she can heat up her own food, go outside and play. Probably got a cell phone. Like Jimmy will be all right if he don't mind. Like you being all weird, like you got a newborn. This girl from me in middle school. Like what? She ain't worried about y'all. So I don't know. Jessica, I think this was hard for her too because she has what people would consider an aesthetic, a European type of beauty. In fact, a lot of people think she was the prettiest girl there. This is, and her being the only one who has given birth while still being the finest, if you will, is 2 points for teen moms. Hey, but I think similar to Clay, when that's what you mostly rely on, and now it's just you, your personality, and what you bring to the table, which yes does include a kid. It can make things, because I don't even remember what she do for a living. Like I don't recall any interest outside of the girl, so I don't recall. Maybe y'all recall. I don't. But yeah, so I think this was kind of new territory for her. It shows. It shows. Because when they see her in person and she's hot, nobody cares that she has a 10-year-old. But, oh, it's just my personality and my, if you will, baggage. So it can be intimidating. And I think that kind of overshadowed, you know, her confidence. So then when the shit hit the fan, and she was like, "You're gonna choke on your EpiPen." Oh, okay, I do remember some things before the epic choke on the EpiPen dismissal speech. When Jimmy started acting a little funny, because at first I was saying Jimmy, and then when he was in that little triangle shit, he started acting a little wah wah wah. And when he started acting a little wah wah wah, they was trying to tell her, girl, just leave. I think it was Laura that told her, look, just leave. Just leave. And I think she wanted to stay, and seeing her cry and stuff like that, it was kind of sad because I think she really had her hopes up for Jimmy. And after they had, I think it was a big argument, then that's when he says he was done. But I think he really checked out when she said she had a kid. But so I mean, then they had, so she did not leave. She came to the thing. I think she was slightly hopeful, but I think she kind of knew. And she was ready to just hit him with the, well, when you see how fine I am, bitch, you gonna fucking die. And, some people on the internet thought that was very arrogant. And I thought, I mean, if you gonna see, I would have left, but whatever. If you gonna come and give somebody the time of day, you might as well read them, I guess. Might as well read them like a book. She ain't lying. She is a pretty girl. So I mean, you know. So okay, peep this. So according to the internet, or because he never said for sure what made him gravitate towards Chelsea, but the internet believes it is because she said that she favors Megan Fox, which is wild. But in one of the groups, they were actually calling her Megan Foe, like Folox. Oh my goodness. So I thought that was hilarious. But so he has this hottie, who actually probably looked more so like Jessica, if you will, in his mind. And I think that may have kind of pushed him. And here's the thing, someone else was pining after her at the same time. Jessica was 10 toes deep, but Chelsea was on the fence because she had Trevor. And when I say I feel like both of them fucked up. Okay, at this big age, at this mature age, you go where the effort is. Period. Forget all that lovey dovey. Forget who looks the best. You go where the effort is at. If this person is 10 toes down, that's where you need to be going. Forget that other shit. It'll come a time. That's my 2 cents. Do with that what you will. But we've been there. That like I said, they're a little bit younger, and there's excitement in the idea that ooh, somebody wants you. And here's the thing, they cannot see each other, but they can see the other contestants. You think a guy like Jimmy on his average best day could ever compete with Trevor in real life? No. Vice versa with Chelsea. Why you think she was so insecure when they got up out them pods? Baby, Jessica is not no, you know, and the idea that I got your man, the man that you're in love with, he's pining after me, and there's that little bit of excitement of okay, yes, there's this person over here that's 10 toes deep, but that little hint of toxicity of ooh, but this person over here, I want them because somebody else wants them. You have to outgrow that type of stuff, and they haven't, and these are the results. So instead of being with someone who was like when Trevor, maybe it sent me trouble. Even though I don't know what was going on with his hairline, did he have like a? And I'm not trying to be shady, but I do believe he had like a hair transplant. That's what it looks like. I could be wrong, but when he came in there, he was like, "I'm not dating nobody else. I've got my mind." Like he was so sweet and so mature. You know who he reminds me of? What's Moana homegirl? Not homegirl, but Moana's homeboy, Maui. He's just big, fine like Maui, without the arrogance. Just a humble, big, handsome dude. A Jethro, I got like a good old big country boy. Just sweet. He never was the way Jessica acted with Jimmy when she was mad. Trevor never acted that way with Chelsea. He was always kind. Even when he saw her in person, he still was like, "That's what's up." And you missed out on that to be with Jimmy, who was 27, looking like he's all of 40. People, I've seen so many pictures in these groups that they comparing him to like. Okay, if you've ever watched the movie Home with Rihanna, um, the main character's name is O. I believe it's either O. What is his name? I think it's O. And a lot of people say that he looks like O. Wade from the recent Disney movie Elementals is one of the comparisons. None of them have been human. It just hasn't been good. The comparisons haven't been good. And you missed out on Trevor. Big, hulking, fine, handsome, and sweet and all about you to get with Mr. On the Fence, and vice versa. Yeah, Jessica has a daughter, but mothers love a different way. Because, okay, here's the thing, no shade to the single ladies without kids. They got something to lose, they got something, to fight for. They've already proven that they're nurturers and that they are family people because they have a family. So if he would have got with Jessica, he probably would have been loved down. And what's crazy is even after that's the part that makes aesthetically handsome and aesthetically fine people human, is that even when she saw him, because I probably saw him and be like, oh Lord, bullet dodge, and I ain't even much of a looker, but she still got butterflies. She still was nervous. And you missed out on that to see about Miss lying her ass off about looking like Megan Fox. I wrote down Chelsea slash Chin. A lot of a lot of people in the groups were giving her a hard time about that chin, and I don't like talking about a woman's looks. You know, my dad has a strong chin. I just happen to get my mama's chin. So, but it's in the eyes. You know, her eyes and Megan Fox's eyes and like the bridge of their nose does look alike. Everything else is somebody else. But I this this is a show about meeting somebody for who they are. I think she should have been disqualified for even saying that. Well, you didn't fuck you shot yourself in the foot with that, but people say I look like Megan Fox. What did AD do when Clay started asking her questions? Shut it down. Why are you asking me that? We are not here for that. I'm so glad she didn't take the bait. Well, I look because AD is fine, so she could have. Well, I kind of look like da 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 da. Nah, we're not here for that. Next question, but so I mean, it worked in her favor. She got chose, and then and then she was in the relationship the whole time insecure. You made it about looks. You indulged that question when you shouldn't have. And now we out here in the real world. He get to see this other big, this little bohemian Barbie that he passed up on, and now you're insecure. Should just chose Trevor. To be honest, the best way to be certain is to deal with someone certain. In the words of Maya Angelou, love is many things, but it is never uncertain. The fact that he had another option should have been enough to be like, you know what, thank you for this experience, but I'm gonna be with Trevor. Trevor has literally stopped talking to everybody just to focus on me. So I'm gonna be focusing on him. Reciprocation, okay? Vice versa. Chelsea's been really great. But according to Jimmy, once they got in that little altercation, that's when he was done. He was just turned off so much by that. And maybe so. I can't speak for Jimmy. I'm not his lawyer, but I honestly think he checked out when she mentioned children or a child. A little bit. It might not have been all the way. Because he's a nice guy. And, self-proclaimed nice guys don't do mean things like just be straight up and say, you know what, I probably can't deal with you. I mean, I don't want to deal with somebody with a child. Mm. So, but anyway, so who I got? Oh, Matthew. I forgot about him. Next to Matthew, I wrote Psycho. Let's run it back real quick. So Matthew originally was talking to AD, and at first we thought that's all who he was talking to because he's a funny character. I don't know if he got Asperger's or if he got some kind of. And this is not to shade anybody with any kind of mental illness. He's got some kind of social disease. I think not social disease. Oh my gosh, forgive me. I don't know the terminology. Something's up. Like he is socially awkward. That's what I mean. And he walked out of several dates, like just walked the fuck out, didn't say anything, just walked out. And then when he met AD, they started clicking. And now looks wise, I just wouldn't have got it. I just wouldn't have. Not that he's ugly, he's just weird. He's just socially awkward. So, and she seems like the very outgoing cheerleader, valley girl type. So, but she made him laugh, and they were clicking. And then he started laying it on thick. Like I was rooting for him. He was saying some real player shit up in that pod. And I was like, okay, AD shit. And then Clay was over here. Ah, yes, Clay. You could tell he was a what's the word? Not a recovering playboy, someone who's trying to stop being one, a reformed playboy. He very much so gave charm and jokes as his personality, like most playboys do. And you can tell, similar to Jessica, his charisma. He has charisma, but also his looks is usually what gets him by. So when he's laying it thick on AD and he can't rely on his fineness, and then here's socially awkward serial killer Matthew, that got her hanging by a thread. This is frustrating for him because he is not used to this. This nerd, are you for real? Like this is my competition? What? Okay. Don't cheer for Matthew too loud because apparently all this, I mean, he was talking big shit. He's like, look, give me your daddy number. I'm gonna call him right now. And lo and just to ask him for your hand in marriage and we can leave together. Like he was laying it on thick. I'm talking about like not player like a player, but like he's saying the right stuff. I was cheering at the TV. I was like, yes, That's how you do it, Matthew. And lo and behold, he said that same shit to another woman and was jacked up as AD's dad had died like that year. So they had bonded about that for a minute. And then lo and behold, he told this other guy the same thing. I would have been pissed off too. And so technically Clay is really like a fall black, no pun intended, a fall back plan because originally she was team Matthew, but Matthew was on some lying sneaky shit. And so they broke up and he left the show to run up behind the other girl. So AD and Clay, so Clay's competition was out the way, and that just made room for her and him to get to know each other, and I guess it worked out. Hmm. So, oh yes, the other couple that actually did make it to the aisle, can I be frank? They are so, I won't say boring, but forgettable that I didn't even write their name down. It's the blonde guy with the surfer dude hair, and nice Hispanic lady. They are very cute together. They did get married. They are the only couple that did get married. And the father's speech at the wedding was so sweet. I mean, it really was. Like, you could only hope that your father feels that way about your husband. Like, I have a son now. Very sweet. So, but they was bland as butter, baby. They was, I can't believe it's not butter, bland. So I didn't even know what is wrong with it. It ain't over there on perfection lane with those two. So anyway, back to the drama. All right, Clay. I have to say he was definitely the anti-hero of this season. Not even a. I don't know how to. I guess we can't put fiction novel terms on this particular fellow because I don't know what to call him. Definitely a reformed playboy who seemed like he was really trying to leave that life behind and find something real, and we were rooting for him. Like Tyra Banks, we were rooting for you. We all were rooting for you. And he dropped some hints here and there that he might not be quite as ready, or cheating is still something that he's trying to get over. And also, it was very clear that his parents' divorce is still fresh for him, which is odd because they probably got divorced when he was like 7. But and this is coming from a child of divorce. Honey, heal and let that shit go. Like my parents divorced when I was like 12. What I look like bringing it up. Just okay. Let's talk about Clay real quick. Clay is what I like to call the result of black culture gone wrong. Can I be real? His parents are like a lot of some of our parents who just swept things under the rug and never had real conversations. In fact, even when his father came in there to give him that speech at the wedding, you could tell by how fidgety and awkward Clay was behaving that they didn't have close talks like this often. In fact, I think he said, "My father doesn't really open up to me much." It showed. And so now you want to show up at the 11th hour. I don't know if it was because the cameras are there or because it was his wedding day, trying to give me some fatherly advice about relationships. And, it's too little too late. Like, he's here ruining some girl's life, breaking some innocent bystander's heart because y'all were too busy, you know, I don't know how to explain it. The previous generation did a lot of stay in a child's place, and unfortunately, what happens is because we never had talks when I was a child, or any time in between that, I took those things with me, and here I am rebuking marriage or shutting down probably the best thing that may ever happen to Clay because of fear of what you did, and so the mama is bringing it up now, but our divorce, it's still he's traumatized, and technically, the okay, I think was it Holly Robinson Pete said the difference between adulthood, it was either her or Kerry Washington, one of them, but the difference between adulthood and childhood is taking what your parents give you or what and making up for the difference of what they didn't. It is his job to get the work, like therapy and all that's not, you talking about going to therapy at the altar. I'm trying not to skip subjects too much while simultaneously staying on Clay. You're talking about therapy at the altar, Broham. When you was single, is when you should have been getting therapy. If your parents weren't having the conversations that they should have about their divorce, about how what kind of husband he really was, about how not to be like him, then it's on you to then go to a therapist. Because if you really want to be a husband, you can't drag that bullshit into no marriage. So many people are, especially our generation, are walking around with tired backs from carrying baggage that is not theirs. That's your daddy shit. That's your mama shit. And give them that shit back. And even like when the parents talk to each other, I don't think they've never had no conversation because he said the bald head ass daddy said some slick shit and she was like, "Yeah, you did get me, but you didn't do right by me." I don't even think they've had a conversation. It was pretty much divorce and move on, and this is the way it's gonna be now, and they just adjusted and nobody said nothing, which is very typical 2000s and 1990s black household behavior. It doesn't cross your mind, what is this saying to my child? What seeds is this putting in my child? Because they were so busy trying to keep a child in a child's place, not realizing that children are sponges. And even though you feel like this is some adult stuff that children shouldn't be concerned with, somewhere up in there, conversation should have been had. It's unfortunate because who has to suffer? The girl at the altar. She didn't ask for this. Now a lot of people online are kind of jumping on her. Not jumping on her, but saying like it's her fault. She refused to see the red flags. And there's some truth there too. In the words of Maya Angelou, when someone shows you who they are, believe them. When he would say things like, I don't know, my dad used to take me, you know, to places where he would cheat on my mom with, and da da da. Cheating was always something that came up, like it was something he thought he might struggle with. It's almost like he was giving her a warning that I'm probably gonna cheat on her ass, and but this is why. Um, I loved how vocal and vulnerable he was. I could tell he was trying, and I think that's why people were rooting for him. Like, okay, he's getting it out there. He's at least he's not in denial. He is trying. However, Broham, this is a show to find a wife. You knew what the show was about. And it's like, if this is genuinely what he wanted to do when he was out there single, he should have been doing the work. That's what I'm saying. I think, and I hate, well, it's on subject, but I'm gonna just put this little gem out there and do with it what you will. I think single people take so much time in their single season looking for a mate and being sad about not having a mate that you're not doing nothing that you ought to be doing. So when the mate comes along, you a good mate. I shouldn't be getting left at the altar because you're not ready because of some divorce from 15 years ago. What were you doing when you were single? In fact, he could have, if the parents were initiating it, we big kids now, we grown up now. You pull the daddy aside. I need to talk to you about this. Why did you cheat on mom? What made you do this? What do you think? Da 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 da. How do you feel? Da 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 da. Like he should have been doing that work when it was just him. And now you done drug somebody else into your foolishness. However, I think AD is also a product of black culture gone wrong. We are so used to being hospitals for broken men. I think every time he said, "You make me a better man, you're making me a better person," that was just instilling hope in her that, okay, he's getting better. We're going to do this. We're going to do this. We can get through stuff together. No, what happened is you gave your labor, you gave your work, you made him better, and he still did not marry you. That's all. So you're sitting up there with a broken heart after pouring so much into this young man, meeting his family, getting close with them, having emotional moments at the table with her mama. Now their relationship is different. You can tell they are close. He doesn't have that with his parents like she does with her mom. And he said, he would sit amongst this and he would take this in, knowing the whole time he wasn't sure. That's the problem I have with Clay. Because what do we say? Love is many things, but it's not unsure. If he was on the fence, he should have real deal said that and not in no beat around the bush ass way. Straight up and down. I'm be honest with you, AD. I absolutely think you're great. the day is coming up, and I'm not quite sure. I'm not sure if I'm gonna say yes. But knowing AD because she so was in love, or maybe I in love with the idea of love, in love with the idea of being a wife, she was gonna keep trying because that's what women, especially black ones, have been trained to do. I'm going to keep working. I'm going to labor some more. I'm going to toil some more. I'm going to pour more into this man in hopes that he will love me. And it's hard to get something you don't have. Does he have the ability to love a woman? Or is he too traumatized from what he saw growing up? You know? Is that the mirror that's in his image, in his head forever? I think he's carrying his father's baggage. And it's like, give that man his stuff back. If he wants to be an old joker out here being a fool, let him do that on his own. But when you don't release that stuff, now you right there with him. Both y'all single, out here looking foolish, had good women that you fucked over. That's not breaking generational curses at all. Like, at all. So we were rooting for Clay. Definitely was Team Clay. Was hopeful because, like I said, it seemed like he was really trying. He was being vocal, at least about his demons, or if you will, his problems. But maybe just that's just the first step. You know, this isn't therapist at first sight. It's married. Love. Was it? I'm thinking about a different show. You know what I mean? This is Love Is Blind, not Find Me a Therapist. It's work he should have been doing before signing up for a show that literally is about marriage. And here's the thing. I can respect that. I think his name was Jimmy, because him and Chelsea shit was a nightmare. Like, it's just, I didn't even talk about them much because it was so much whining. It was so much. How she was annoying. Oh my gosh, she was annoying. The po' boy couldn't win for losing no matter what he did. Her and her chin was getting on my last nerves. But I don't feel sorry for her, sis, because you had somebody, big hulking fine motherfucker, who was 10 toes deep, but you let butterflies and silly girlish feelings push you towards somebody that was on the fence about somebody else. You set yourself up, so I don't feel sorry for her. I don't. And no, he was sick of that whining and shit, and he didn't want to deal with it, so he opted out. And you know what he did? He was at least was decent enough to have a conversation with her and not have her friends and family pull up to no damn wedding and embarrass her at an altar. And since Clay did not take that route, he does not have my respect. Like, a lot of the internet is praising him because he fashioned his little speech to make it sound like he was doing something noble. You're not. He's full of shit. This process takes at least a month, because I don't know, at least 2 months. And if you were unsure at any time, because ain't no way you just got to the altar and was like, ain't no way it's been yes the whole time, and right here at the altar, all of a sudden it's, oh fuck, no. Nah, nigga, no. So but the way he said it made it seem like he was being noble, and it wasn't about her, it was about him. You've heard, I don't know why people are giving him so many props as if It's Not You, It's Me hasn't been around since the 70s. Like, he ain't said nothing new. Let's be real. He liked her body, yada yada, and that was it. He liked her labor and he liked her body. And by her labor, I mean what she did for him, how she made him feel, how she built him up as a man, how she helped make him a better man, and how good she looked in the thong. That is all he was worried about. He shouldn't have been on that show. No way. He gets no props from me. Well, that was nice of him. At least he told her the truth. At least he didn't. Thanks. I mean, some things are inevitable. Anytime you hear no, it's gonna hurt. Excuse me. But people who care about you, people who love you, care about how they make you feel. If he really cared about that girl, show or not, he could have did exactly what Jimmy did. In fact, I'm the type of person, I'm gonna be like, cut the cameras, I need to talk to her. Like I said, cut the cameras. And I'm gonna talk to this person that I say I love on the side. Look, I absolutely love you, but I ain't gonna be able to do this. Like, spare her the embarrassment. And protect her. And he didn't do that. There's no way he really loves AD, and this is how he's treating her. And if you think that what he did or the way he behaved is how someone who loves you behaves, you're probably settling in your own life. That's foolishness. And I hope AD never talks to him again. Cause what, nigga? Like we was together last night, this morning, nah, nah, you name it. And at any point in time, you could have pulled me to the side and been like, I don't think so. I don't think it's gonna work. And okay, like at the altar, he said that his reasoning was he's not 100%, he's not ready for marriage, and he doesn't want to, put that on her, blah blah blah. But to the camera, he said, "Is this somebody I can see myself when I look in? Is this somebody I can see myself marrying? When I look in the mirror, do I see a husband? Am I really 100% in love with her? No, no, no." So you changing your answer for your audience. He's being manipulative. You can sit there and give him props all day. I know manipulation and gaslighting when fuck. I can't even talk. That's how pissed off Clayton got me. But no, I know gaslighting when I see it, honey. And an image based person is always gonna keep their image in mind. Now it was kind of him to pretend like it wasn't about her and don't take it personal and it's not you and please don't feel like you're not enough. What sucks is when you have shared your heart. I'm sure that she didn't share with him before how she normally gets the short end of the stick and feels like she's never made to, or she's always made to feel like she's not enough. And true enough, that is work that she has to do. She is responsible for that work. If she's still at a place where she is internalizing those sort of things, maybe marriage wasn't quite what she was ready for, but also she's a human being. Like the fact nobody wants to keep getting the short end of the stick with something, especially when you, the man, have sat here and got her hopes up. Like you was gonna no, nope. So I don't know. I don't necessarily think any one person. I think it was a team effort and could have did better because. But if you don't straight up and down tell some people, hey, I don't think this is going. That's why you got to be direct. That's why beating around the bush ain't gonna work because she here to get a husband. So if you ain't saying anything other than no, we not gonna do this, she's gonna keep going along with it, like dropping them little hints about cheating and what they got to do. I'm gonna just keep working. We're gonna work through it. We can get through anything. Isn't that what women were trying to do? Stand by our man. I mean, what was she supposed to do? She did what women were told to do. And then when it didn't pan out, she was blamed. Isn't that what always happens? It's your fault. You did. All right. He could have just been honest, and straightforward. Not no beating around the bush or dropping a hint. No, I'm not 100% sure about you. Some things hurt. It's going to hurt no matter what. But I would rather have hurt in private or even if it's just like at the dinner table, like it was with, with Chelsea and Jimmy. Um, I would rather that than I'm in front of all of our family, all of our friends. I done got this dress. You could have told me this in the car. Like, we could talk about this on the phone. So it makes me kind of side eye him. Is he just there for his career? Is he just there for clout? Because even if he didn't want to do it, there's a way let me be clear. People have a right to say no. Of course, we don't want a man in a marriage who isn't ready for marriage. It's how you do things. It's a way to do everything. If we're as close as you say we are, you could have pulled me to the side and we could have had this conversation. And he seemed so nonchalant. He seemed so disconnected. Kind of how old boy with the cell phone was acting. That's kind of what he was giving me. And then you invade her space when she in there crying in the dressing room. She too nice for me. Tell that nigga to not come in here. And if it's all the same, I'd rather not see him again. And the audacity that he feels entitled to still have access to her. I didn't say, and then he said this at the altar. I didn't say we're gonna stop. I'm gonna keep showing up. I'm gonna keep doing the work. I'm gonna know you not. Oh, you can, but I won't be a part of that. I signed up to get a husband, not a project. Now in real life, I know how women are, and baby Clay is fine. And this ain't no raggedy dude. Like I say, he is an entrepreneur. He got his own shit and no kids. In real life, they probably f that same night. But I would encourage her. I don't think he ever gonna get it right. It's just something about it, It's just, mm-mm. You got men like Surfer Dude who know, and you got Clay. I think it's gonna be years from now, and it's still gonna be like Jim Jones and what's it, Chrissy? I think it's gonna be that you forever pouring your labor into this man, and you never really receiving what you want from for it in exchange for it. And if you do, it's gonna be 10 years down the line or some bullshit. I would move on. AD is a pretty girl. She ain't got kids. She got her head on straight. She's still young. Clay is nice, but he ain't ready. I would not spend any more labor on him. You have done enough. But we shall see. The reunion is next week. So I'll be watching. But thank you for, joining me and dealing with me and my stuffy nose and throaty throat and my little Tasmanian cup. Mm. What kind of tea is this again? I forgot. What's an elderberry? Yeah, with my elderberry tea. But I'm disappointed in Clay, but also can't say that I'm too surprised, to be honest. Shout out to Amy and her dude. I'm sorry, they just weren't very memorable, but the wedding was sweet. They are a sweet couple, and it's nice to know one couple made it. Let me just chime on something before I go. So, a page that I follow said that they no longer watch dating shows because they feel like they set black women up, like, and I kind of get what she's saying. She was like, "There's these specialists that are supposed to be vetting people out, but for some reason, the black women always get the short end of the stick." And I think it was referencing Clay, but also Chris from, I don't know if y'all remember, Married at First Sight. Like, how did that piece of shit get through a pastor and two specialists? I have no idea. But she in it now. Hers was way worse than AD. But I'm ready to. I have to agree with her. I'm ready to see the dark skinned girlies, the beautiful chocolate sisters find love on these dating shows. Like, if y'all gonna let us come on up here, give us some quality men to choose from. And it's not always that, you know. We was rooting, yeah, black love, yay, but it looks like the same trauma shit we always see. Like, vet these ninjas out, bro. Like, you know, I'm tired of seeing. When she said that, it made me think because I was like, I'm not giving up the dating shows, but she has a valid point. Like, gee whiz, like, I forgot what Chris's girlfriend name, his wife, because they got married, what her name was, but I mean, he took her through the ringer, and she was just like AD, just trained in the art of labor, trained in the art of kindness, trained in the art of stand by your man instead of telling these fools to go fuck themselves. And I think it, it definitely leads to conversations that need to be had in our community about self-love and self-worth, and it needs to start with childhood. It needs to start, everything was stay in a child's place. No, little black girls need to be trained up to believe that they are the shit and not that they have to deal with shit to be loved. Let's unlearn that. you know I hate it took me to my kind of early mid 30s to really be like, you know what, I don't have to just sit here and be no good woman for nobody that's not being no good man to me. I'm out. We our culture is still unlearning that being single is not the worst thing ever. Like, that's why we see that so much on these dating shows, because these women are able, the clock is ticking. They're in the late 20s, and society really got you thinking that, oh, you got to hurry up, baby. I know women in their early 40s who have had kids. Like, there's no rush. Life is a long time, and better to vet people out and get somebody who actually I think the first qualifications for a man to be a husband is someone who actually wants to be a husband and is putting in the work when he is single to do that. And Clay, I think he got the financial stuff together, and that's great because that's important. But that emotional work, you got to do that. I'm not, and I've dealt with that before. I'm not paying for no ghost, for the sins of no ghost. Cause you're not. When you come and deal with me, you're not paying for no old stuff. Why? Because I did the work. I saw my therapist. I've prayed. I've did the work. I've written in journals all while I was single. That's what that time is for. So that when this new person comes along, there's a clean slate. My parents divorced, that's their business. I still believe marriage is a beautiful thing. Yes, I saw that, growing up, but it is what it is. Moving on. And Clay, he used to do that. And I don't think it's necessarily that AD got to sit around and wait until he do. Girl, if you're listening, which I don't know why you would be, you are a pretty young lady. The inbox probably been jumping since the show came on Netflix. Clay is not the finest or the best you could do. God didn't stop making the good and decent men with Clay. There are others. So anyway, that's my time, and thank you for joining. Good night.